watching WCCO-TV.
I'm J.J. Bittenbinder, and I'm a policeman. On this show, we're going to talk about one of the toughest predators to stop, the serial killer. Serial killers are the great white sharks of the criminal world. There aren't very many of them, and they don't strike very often, but when they do, it's cold and vicious. Coming up, we'll take a hard look at serial killers and what you can do to avoid them and other sexual predators.
2028, units on scene by Barbary and Friday.
There have been a lot of movies about serial killers. Silence of the Lambs, Basic Instinct, Natural-Born Killers. But most don't get it right. Serial killers are not cool or sexy, and they're certainly not heroes. There's nothing charming about a Ted Bundy when you know the perverted things he did. On this edition of Tough Target, we'll look at a recent serial killer, Ken Tollerton of Akron, Ohio. Like Bundy, Tollerton was intelligent and outgoing. President of his high school ski club, president of Junior Achievement, and a member of the Camera Club. Most of his classmates thought he'd become a professional photographer. But Ken Tollerton had a darker side.
Alex, give me the gun. I told you, never point a gun at anybody.
Sorry, Dad.
It's okay, son. I'm gonna be back in a minute, okay?
Roll down your window. Get back to it. I just wanted to let you know your tire's a little flat. You're gonna ruin the rim if you keep driving on it. This one. All right, we're going for a little ride.
Oh, my God.
Hey, let's go. Drive the car. Come on, let's go. Police! Police! Stop the car! Stop the car! Lady, get out of the car, now! I'll shoot! Drop it!
As far as I know, I'm the only one that has survived an attack by Ken Tollerton. He was sentenced to 2 to 15 years for kidnapping and 2 to 15 years for felonious assault. 2 months later, however, I received a call from a local probation officer who told me that he was being released on shock probation, which is offered to first-time offenders.
She's dead.
No, I can get her going. When that happens, just try opening up the secondary right there.
Yeah, open her up. Remember that Lisa woman I was telling you about?
Yeah?
Got a date with her Friday night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You want to bring a girl? Double date?
No, I don't date. At least not in public. I can't really operate unless I get them alone, you know, away from people. Out in the middle of nowhere.
Whatever.
What the hell are you doing over there?
Just out walking.
At 1:30 in the morning?
I couldn't sleep.
It's time to go to bed.
Night.
Dispatch put out an all-points bulletin on Colorado license plate 542UL7. Last seen headed north on Deerfield Road.
Ken Tollerton received a sentence of 10 years for the murder of Donna Waugh and served less than 4. She had been stabbed and strangled and raped. When Tollerton was released in 1991, he began to stalk women at bus stops. He would hang around these bus stops and observe day after day which women got on, which women got off.
How you doing?
Hi,
What's your name?
Sissy. Are you headed in town?
Could be. Why don't you get in?
Thanks.
When Sissy Foster's body was found, there were no fingerprints, no tire tracks, no witnesses. But there was a trace of someone else's DNA. An Arapahoe County investigator made the connection. He remembered Donna Waugh from 1980, and he found Sissy's killing oddly similar. So he ordered a DNA comparison. Fortunately, Colorado keeps DNA records on all convicted sex offenders. When the DNA results came back, it was a match. Tollerton pled guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Today, he's still a suspect in dozens of unsolved killings across the country. When we come back, we'll look at how you can keep safe from sexual predators like Ken Tollerton. Over the past 20 years, the FBI has spent a lot of time studying serial killers. They've interviewed hundreds of them, from John Wayne Gacy to Ted Bundy to Jeffrey Dahmer. They found that most serial killers are just like Ken Tollerton, white males in their 20s or 30s. They're often normal looking and come from middle-class homes. Most of them are loners. Actually, your chances of meeting one of these guys are pretty slim. The FBI figured there's only about 30 of them loose in the country at any one time. But the things you do to avoid them will also help protect you against more common sexual predators. Let's look at what happened to Janelle in the parking lot. When Tollerton approached, she kept her doors locked and rolled down her window just a crack. Nothing's going to get into her car. But then she opened the door to look at her tire. That wasn't smart. Stay inside your car with the doors locked and the windows up. Even if he says there's something wrong, stay inside. But what if this guy has a gun? What should she do? Hit the accelerator. Chances are he won't shoot. And even if he does, he's got a lousy angle. Finally, let's look at Sissy Foster, a sweet, fun-loving kid. If you're a parent, make sure you know exactly where your kids are going and how they're going to get there. Sissy's friends say she used to accept rides from strangers and even hitchhike. Never hitchhike. One survey found that 25% of all women who hitchhike are raped. That's 1 in 4. Nobody knows how many are killed. If you've been watching Tough Target, you've heard me say this before, but it's extremely important. You cannot get into the car. Ken Tollerton kept rope and a butcher's knife under the seat, just in case he met someone interesting. No matter what, you cannot get into the car. Sissy and Donna did. It was the last trip of their lives.
Next, women who are learning how to fight back and win.
If you're ever in a dangerous situation, your best option is to flee. Get your knees in the breeze and get out of there. But what if you can't flee? Can you fight someone bigger and stronger? Dawn Callan says you can. She teaches a workshop on self-defense.
The workshop is designed to teach people how to take care of themselves, protect themselves physically against a violent attack, and also to identify the areas in their life where they feel disempowered, where they feel helpless, and take their power back. At the end of the 2 days, we expect our students to absolutely know that they can handle themselves against a violent attack. And they know that they can because they have, because integrated into their program is a very realistic combat situation where they get to stand up to their worst fears and to an attacker and win for themselves.
We wanted to see how it works. So we sent our roughest, toughest producer. Meet Lori Hefter. Lori, what got you interested in this program?
Well, you know, working on the show as a producer, I come in contact all the time with people who are victims of crime. And I realized, you know, it can happen to anyone, and I need to be more prepared.
Let's take a look.
There were about a dozen of us, men, women, all different ages.
Over the shoulder.
We spent a lot of time learning how to use our hands, our elbows, and our legs to defend ourselves.
Ready, strike.
But the big deal was actually testing ourselves in combat.
When do we go into combat?
When you feel threat.
When you have no other choice. If you go into combat, you go in 100% fully committed.
The attackers were three very big guys, and they were padded all over. It was their job to pick the fight. But then as soon as they put their helmets on, it was our job to do anything we could to avoid being their victims.
Use your hands. Now use your hands.
One of the rounds of combat was an unprovoked attack, and no holds were barred.
It's like it's real.
No, like your attitude.
See, you know what? It's all I can say is that weight, that strength, that power on top of your body. It's scary.
Face. Give it go down. You gotta take him down. You gotta take him down. Now get palm strike. Palm strike. Listen, palm strike. Break.
You're flailing. It won't work.
Through each of the rounds, Dawn and the other teachers were ready to tell us what we were doing right and what we were doing wrong.
You got to come straight up center.
Knee. Get your knee. That's it. That's it. Now grab that groin up. There it is. That's it. All right, one more. Okay, good. Nice work.
You just don't know what to do until you've ever been in that situation. You have no idea.
She's saying no, but she really means yes.
Each one of us comes in knowing how to take care of ourselves, that it's hardwired into our system and it's simply put to sleep. Once it's reawakened, you don't lose it again.
That's it. Find your key eye. Find your key eye. That's it.
Good hand.
Get that hand back there. Now key eye. Now key eye. That's a girl. Kick. Good. Quit talking in key eye. Leave me alone. Quit talking in key eye. You got a free hand. Use it. That's it. Now get your legs in there. Kick. That's it. Break.
That was so intense. Much more than I ever imagined it would be. And real good training.
First, use prevention. Make yourself a tough target. Second, flee. Get out of there. Third, use pepper spray and then flee. But if you have to fight, fight to win. Don't go away. We'll be right back with this week's Crime Fighter. Each year, police dogs save lives. Here's a canine team in Seattle that was one victim's last hope.
I was driving in my police car on my way to work with Donner in the back, and I heard a radio call of 4 men attacking a woman.
Come. Heel.
When Kenton and Donner got to the scene, only one attacker was still on the loose.
Stay.
Donner immediately got on a good, strong scent.
Seek him out. Attaboy. Attaboy, seek him out.
I saw the figure of a man crashing, making noises as he went through the brush.
Attaboy. Find him, bud. Seek him out.
And right in front of us, a woman sitting on the ground. She appeared to have blood on her. She was just kind of in stupor.
Police! Stop or I'll send a police
I told him
dog!
I was a police officer, that I had a police dog, and I got no response. So I sent Donner after the bad guy. We got about 15 or 20 yards into the brush, and I could see that Donner had the suspect cornered there in the brush. He immediately gave up, and he was handcuffed by the other officer. We noticed he had a butcher knife protruding out of his back pocket. Donner is invaluable in this kind of a situation. He can use his nose, locate a suspect in the brush where we might not be able to find him at all, or if we did, it would be at much greater risk to ourselves.
We salute our crime fighters of the week, Ken Carpenter and Donner. For parents, the most terrifying criminals are child molesters who hang out by schools. This week's Tough Target Award winner is a junior high teacher from Wheeling, Illinois. He spotted something suspicious, and he took action.
On Tuesday, I was made aware of an incident where a guy tried to get two girls in a car. On Wednesday morning, when I went out for bus duty at 8:10, 4 girls ran up to me and told me that the same event occurred.
Hey, girls! Can you give me some directions to Wolf Road? Why don't you come in the car and show me where it is?
No.
Hey, you're pretty.
No, come on, you guys. Mr. Tate!
What?
There's a guy, he's trying to get us out.
Where, over there?
Yeah,
They identified the car instantly. They said, that's the individual. Beth, call the police, please. Beth, call the police. Guys, go inside. He left the property, and in a few minutes he returned, coming in the wrong way, going by 3 buses that were unloading. I stopped him under the pretense that he was driving the wrong way. Whoa, stop, please. Whoa, we need to talk. Do you realize you came in the wrong way?
I was looking for my son.
No, you need to stay here right now.
I promise I won't do it again. I never come back again. I promise I won't do it again.
Stay in the car, please. The only thing in my mind was that I can't let him get away.
It was very brave of Mr. Kletecki to do what he did, because he could have got hurt doing what he did, but I'm glad he did that, because now I feel much safer.
I feel very good when kids come up to me and call me their hero and ask for my autograph and pat me on the back, but they also need to be patted on the back because they did what was right also.
This week's Tough Target Award winner, Greg Kletecki.
You can personally receive a valuable safety tip from JJ by calling him at 1-900-903-5900. Each Friday, JJ will have a new tip to help you become a tough target.
Before you visit someone, it's always a good idea to phone first. At least, that's what these 2 burglars thought. They played it safe before breaking into a house in Connecticut. They called ahead to see if anyone was home, but all they got was the answering machine. Still, just to make sure there wasn't someone listening, they talked to the machine and tried to get them to pick up. After burglarizing the house, they carefully erased the answering machine. Pretty smart, huh? But what they didn't realize was that the victim's phone had caller ID and had captured their number. Well, guess what else got captured that day? This week's America's Most Stupid, Gregory Alves and Gary Ingham, who never should have phoned from home. Coming up, my comments on a national system to identify sex offenders. As you saw earlier, serial killer Ken Tollerton was put away because of a DNA match. Fortunately, Tollerton had served time in Colorado, where all sex offenders are required to submit DNA samples before they're paroled. DNA is the unique genetic code that makes you, you. It's in every cell in your body. In Tollerton's case, only 1 in 18 million white males had similar DNA. Since 1991, the FBI has been building a national DNA database on violent criminals. But only half the states are involved. If your state doesn't keep DNA records, write to your state legislator and urge your senator and congressman to pass the National DNA Identification Act. Some people say that mandatory DNA testing is a violation of criminals' rights. Well, I think that's BS. We already keep fingerprints on them, and a tiny little needle is hardly an invasion of privacy. We've got to have a national DNA database, and we need it now. It's the key to identifying serial killers and other sex offenders, and putting them away for life. If you have a real-life crime story, we'd like to hear from you. Write us at Tough Target, P.O. Box 4864, Chicago, Illinois 60680. Include your address and phone number.
For transcripts of this program, call 1-800-777-8398.
I'm J.J. Bittenbinder. Stay safe. Be a tough target.